Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're watching from in the world. Death Ranger here, just coming at you with another video this week. I had started off by cutting a clip out of the DeFi and Stablecoins BIS Innovation Hub conference that was just hosted and posted to YouTube over the last couple days. I cut a 5-minute clip, and I just wanted the community to watch and just make sure everybody sees what's actually going on out there in the world that's being discussed by these large entities that make very important decisions. As well as I just want to remind everybody, stay safe out there. The scams, they've never been more potent and more vigorously trying to grab everybody's digital assets. One of the most recent scams I've probably been watching is when people are on Discord and you would enter a Discord channel and you would get a message from somebody who is imitating somebody's name who is a moderator or an owner of the Discord. Always remember, there's no reason to ever give anybody your secret phrase. There's no reason to click on emails sent by anybody, especially if at a crypto exchange anybody tries to email you and contact you in regards to your account. Always make sure that you ignore the email and you would directly go to their website so that you bring up communication, start communication with them, and then ask them if they had sent you an email. You guys got to do everything to stay safe out there. All right, hope you all are safe. Death Ranger signing off. Enjoy the video.
Overview of what we're going to talk about. I'll try to be as descriptive as possible and not editorialize, but where I find that unavoidable, I'll make that explicit. So the first part I want to say, just to set the stage, is that it's really important to think about stablecoins as a system, like we do with money in the existing financial system. I think this quote by Mr. Carsten's, money and payment systems together make up the monetary system and should be seen as two parts of the same whole. Often it's the case when jargon and vocabulary creates an object, like a stable coin, tends to frame the discussion around the component rather than the role the component plays within the system. And the relationship between a stable coin and the protocols, in this case blockchain protocols, that enable its functionality, its transferability, capability of being controlled by smart contracts, etc. The utility that comes from stable coins is part of the decentralized payment system. And for the same reason that we can't really give a good characterization of fiat currency, it's commercial bank money, M1, you can't really characterize that without also understanding how fiat currency transfers from one bank account to another, and the systems that make that magic happen of Alice's bank account at HSBC gets debited and Bob's bank account at Citibank gets credited, all the stuff that runs behind the scenes that make that possible. The payment systems part is part of the characterization of fiat currency money. And the same holds with stablecoins. So let's start with that in mind, that stablecoins are part of a broader system. Let's just ask the question: what's a coin? I mean, what's the meaning behind that jargon? And that jargon actually has quite a specific meaning that even predates Bitcoin. Comes from the field of financial cryptography, where it's been known for a long time that a chain of cryptographic signatures where the payer uses his private key, his or her private key, to cryptographically sign a message, including the payee's public key. You can build a chain of these cryptographic signatures and create something that quite amazingly actually has the key indicia of a property. It's excludable. It's capable of assumption by third parties. And when you include the system part, which is the solution to the double spending problem, the ability to uniquely identify these chains of cryptographic signatures, which is what, in the case of Bitcoin, Nakamoto consensus, more modern blockchain proof of stake protocols, Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus, whatever the underlying technology is, there's this logically centralized, like, single record of that chain of cryptographic signatures, and that creates digital assets. And the really interesting character of digital assets, which makes them very different from today's money and all financial assets, is that they're commodity-like. You note that in this definition, which comes from the Bitcoin white paper, we define electronic coin as a chain of digital signature. There's no reference to the coin has value because it's a claim on some issuer or on some third party, and that is a unique form of property that it has characteristics of being like commodity, like precious metals, but without the physical characteristics of that type of scarcity. And it certainly doesn't have the digital assets certainly don't have the property of being a claim on another party. So what's a stablecoin? And a stablecoin, there are lots of definitions have been offered of this. I'll just take the FSB's. It's a crypto asset that aims to maintain a stable value relative to a specified asset or pool or basket of assets. It's a good enough definition. It could probably be generalized a little bit because I think it would be fair to call us like a stablecoin, a crypto asset that's stabilized relative to a price index, for example, not necessarily an index of assets, but it's descriptively correct in terms of all the stablecoins I'm aware of in existence today. So if that's what stablecoins are, like let's talk about, and this is I think this is a really important part of kicking off the discussion with the panel.